Hello, 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 hello. Let's just have a little look here. Put the link in there, which should say just about everything that I need to say. Oh, you can, oh, it says far too much. You can only have a, okay, let's take that off. You can only have a certain amount of characters on the live chat. I was going to put a big old post there, and you can only have 200 characters. So I'll just have ask a question. How many is 200 characters? Is that 200 characters? Something like that, maybe. Yeah, let's have a little look there. Copy that, put that in the comments. Very good. It's still far too many. Let's just take all that off there. Got a limited amount of characters. There we are. That sort of makes sense. It's got the loom. Excuse me. There we are. I can now see the comments on YouTube. I can see one person's watching now, which is jolly good. I can see my own Zoom, and I've got the sound turned down on my YouTube. So if you're going to join, then make sure that your sound is turned down on your YouTube tab, which obviously you're listening to me now, but when you let in, there's a good 3 seconds delay before it comes out through your microphone, back over the airwaves, back to me. And about now, you'd hear me saying 3 seconds delay, and it's very off-putting. Remember that. I hope everybody's well. I'm having a fantastic day. I've actually been up most of the night finishing off my Super May Day surprise. Well, I say finishing off, I've got a little bit more a little bit more to do at 4 o'clock this morning. Yeah, there we are. That's the wonders of computer world. Bom dia, Annabella. Yes, so I put a few little clues on my Facebook page. I had a picture of the Three Musketeers. The clue here was Cardinal Richelieu wouldn't like it. Joanna Jones very cunningly came to all for one. And then the second clue was it's not bog offy. And bog off is the little slang term for an offer in the shop, buy one, get one free. So if it's not bog off, if it's not buy one, get one free, and it's all for one, May Day surprise is all of my online training, all the hypnosis, both hypnosis sessions, any publications that I've done, any training videos, Carl's horsemanship guide, enjoy your horse hypnosis session, ride like you dream of hypnosis session, achieve any goal web seminar, and a whole bunch more bonuses. And they're all going to be for May Day only, by one, price of one, and you're going to get them all. And that's how I thought I could best serve the community, how I could best reach the end of this lockdown period and look back and think, what did I do that I possibly could have done to help people? That's what I've come up with. It's also going to equip loads of people, because it's all at-home studies. So it's going to equip loads of people that when they finally are released from these restrictions, they'll be in a better position mentally to get on their horses and begin all the bite-sized programs to get exactly where they want to be. It's absolutely champion. From a selfish point of view, it's going to get loads of people to know my work and turn them into raving fans and get testimonials. Testimonials are the lifeblood of a business like mine. Obviously, here I am going out on YouTube and that. And when I've got anything to say, I need to have the social proof, it's called. For those of you who want to fall into the jargon, this is all things that I've learned while I've converted my bricks and mortar business to an internet business. You've got to have social proof. Social proof is people just saying that that you're good. So I do need my social proof. I'm not going to get it from my rider confidence course because that is closed down. I'm not going to get it from my talks around the country because that is closed down. So where am I going to get it from? So from a absolutely personal, selfish point of view, I will end up with loads of testimonials. From a mental health point of view, so that I can continue to have a healthy mental attitude about the lockdown, about businesses closing down, my business closing down, is how much can I help people? So I'm going to help people in two ways. One, increase my social media, do something such as this, questions and answers, if I can be of help to anybody. And you may have noticed that I've started talking about interneting your business a bit more, because although I'm nowhere nowhere near a person who could give you advice on how you should internet your business, I do have my story of how I interneted my business. Horse instructor, and now here I am speaking to you through the internet. So if I can help you, I will. I do know rider confidence through and through. Internet in your business, I have my story. So if you want to hear that, if you want to know how I've done it, or starting off with writing the book and having your Facebook page, what Facebook Lives do, what I did with content, how to make a Facebook audience, then I targeted that audience, and gave the free copy of my book. That led on to an email list. I'm hoping that a lot of you are enjoying getting the emails when they turn up. I should be doing them more, but I've got kind of busy. And all this advice that I can give, this is my story. So if you're thinking my job is so bricks and mortar, there's no way that it could be internet turned into an internet income stream at all, you'd be wrong, because I'm a horse instructor. So if I can help with that, I will. And that brings me neatly on to my first subject of the morning. Hello, everybody. Hi, how are you? How are you? That brings me on to the first subject, which is a week ago, I got just a little throwaway question from Hillary, I think it was, saying, how do you grow your YouTube channel? And I don't know if you remember, but I said, right, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to write to my email list. I'm going to start doing these regular broadcasts. I'm going to turn up. If people want to ask questions, that's jolly good. If not, I'll give you a little bit of advice for the day and then I'll go. And it's all very casual. As it happens, people turn up most days except on the second day. And even that experience itself was immensely valuable, because if you're feeling nervous or unsure about starting your social media for your business, and Denise Jones, if you're listening, your lovely gift of rose water and chocolates came today, and you will remember that when I was at the Balanced Horse seminar, we had this very conversation about getting your social media started for your rosewater business. And if you're feeling nervous and kind of like, oh, I couldn't bear it, you know, suppose no one turns up. Well, nobody did turn up, and I'm still alive. And I'm still going. So the reason why I can put up with the blow of doing a YouTube live Q&A and having absolutely nobody turn up is simply because I'm taking the same skills from doing horses and applying them to business. So in my opinion, when I'm training my horses, because I do showmanship, a show, and there's a different discipline to most horse people. When people turn around and say, oh, I don't know what you're doing, I think you're doing it all wrong, I can ignore them, because they don't understand my business. They don't understand. From a leisure point of view, if you've got your dreams, desires, you know the reason why you've got a horse, you know why you're doing natural horsemanship instead of dressage, or dressage instead of show. You know. and nobody else does. So in that security, you can actually just make the decision to be secure. And when someone says, you want to do this, you want to do that, you can just turn around and cheerily go, I've got a plan, and go off and do yourself, and not have to take it to heart. That's easy for me in the horse world because of my job. You may be thinking, yeah, but it's not easy for me. It's easy for you because that's your job. But here's my example. It's not easy for me when I'm doing my second ever YouTube live Q&A and nobody turns up. And there's me being filmed live, failing. Well, of course, not failing, you're learning. And I'm learning live. And now I've turned that into a resource that I can point people to and say, look how I've transferred this skill from something I'm confident at, and I've put it onto something I'm not confident at. And so that's how I could write that. You can always transfer things. So anyway, I've digressed, because at that point I was answering a question, how do you grow your YouTube channel? And I remember saying that what I'm doing this live. There's 474 subscribers at the moment. I'm going to do this for a week live. We're going to see how we go. We're going to mention it a couple of times in my emails. And now's the time for the result. So I'm just going to crawl my YouTube over here. You might already be on the result. I need to scoop that there. Does it say? It says 9. There we are. 584. So I've gained a 20% increase, another 100 and something subscribers, which is pretty good, I reckon. So if you could get 100 subscribers in a week, and that's how I did it, by making the power of my Facebook page, my Facebook lives. I've also mentioned it on that, my email list, and turning up and doing this. I just said that I was up till 4:30. I'm a little bit tired, and it wouldn't be at all remiss to say, oh, I think I won't do that today. I'm a bit tired. I might talk a bit rubbish, but turn up. There we are. Turn up, do your thing. Your audience will come to you. As for making your email list, that's another question. And if anybody wants to know, then it's like, come on to the YouTube and say, right, how did you make an email list like that? Because I remember 1 year ago, still not understanding the power of an email list. And it was Chris Lefebvre from Tech Explained who has helped me for the last year and really helped me. He explained the power of an email list and how you get to do that. And it's marvelous, absolutely marvelous. So there's another bit that I could help you with. I can definitely help you with Facebook Lives, the wonders of Facebook versus Facebook Live, which one you should do, how to target that. I can definitely help you with Facebook ads. Not so much with Instagram. I'm not particularly Instagram, but I'm hoping that sometime this week we'll get Karen Watkins in, and then that'll be super cool, because she's been doing a course on Instagram. She could help us. She came on the Mounted Division Ultimate Rider Confidence course, and there we go. Lovely. So let's just have a little look, see what's happening, see if anything's happening. What's in our comments? Morning all, finally my YouTube notification worked. There we are. That's another thing. I was unaware that every YouTube, somebody told me, every YouTube live questions and answers that I do, I need to tell people to ring the subscribe button. The little square with subscribe, give that a little dab, and it will tell you when we're on again. So there we go. Oh, important question, says Koi Koi. Wonder what that was. Lovely. Just reading through the comments now. Got a. Oh no, that's my comment. I told you I was tired. I'm having many cuts and can only hear you from time to time. I don't know why. Let's just have a little look at the. Now my BT whole home seems to work a little bit. Connect onto that. Lovely. Let's have a little look in the waiting room, see if anybody's got a question. There we are. Lovely. There we are. So, so that's what we can do. We can make the best of the lockdown period by just helping people as much as possible. Put your mind into September when you're looking back and you're saying, what did I do to keep myself sane, help people, and to help people secure your reputation? And I'm also securing myself by having swapping my business onto the internet, and I'm not going to sell more. No one's got any money, but by building my audience, I'm securing my future so that if a lockdown happens again, I've already got that built up. That makes sense. So, oh, hello, we've got someone in the waiting room. Jane, I'll be with you in 1 second. So if you've got any questions, and if I can help you, I will. My story about interneting my business, rider confidence, I know through and through. I've been doing it for many, many years, or indeed confidence in anything, including the lockdown. So I'm going to admit Jane. And there we are. So Jane, if you move, oh, you've already done it. Well done. Lovely. How can I help you, Jane? Have you got your microphone turned on? I don't think you have. Just give your cursor a little wave over the computer screen and your microphone symbol will come down in the bottom left. It's a little sort of old style stand-up microphone, and that needs to be white and not red with a line through it. Bottom left, bunch of symbols come up. There we are.
Yeah, that works.
White and not red with a line. Super. Could you go onto your YouTube tab and mute that, because I can hear myself from about 20 seconds ago.
Yeah, that works. So I get rid of the YouTube?
Or just there's a little loudspeaker symbol somewhere at the bottom of the screen. You can dab that and it will just cut it off.
You've disappeared. Hang on. Oh yeah, you're back. Brilliant. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's super. Was it relatively easy to get onto the call? Just to reassure everybody else.
So I wanted to chat about rider confidence.
Super.
I'm actually a trained hypnotherapist as well, so I know all the things I should be doing.
Worth saying at this point, if you read Paul McKenna's book, when he got sued, he couldn't help himself.
Yes, it's tricky to help yourself.
So you needn't be thinking, oh, I should be able to help myself, because if Paul McKenna can't do it, that means it's fairly across the board.
Okay.
But there you go. It's a bit like being on a horse and being able to teach yourself. You can't. You need someone on the ground to say this is happening, that happening. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted, but
so I would say I was reasonably confident novice, and then just over a year ago, I put my lovely horse. We moved to an old stable that I'd been at, and I put my horse in a field that she'd been in before, and the farmer had a lot of farm machinery in there, and I didn't feel comfortable putting her in there. Sorry. And she was dead within 5 minutes of going in there. And I didn't trust my judgment. I didn't trust my gut. and she paid for that. Sorry. And then I got another horse, and he was trained to be a race. Well, he was trained to be a racehorse, but he was too slow, and he's really soft, really lovely, gentle horse. And 3 weeks after I got him, I'd only ridden him on my own, not in company. I stupidly went for a fun ride. And as we were going to the beginning of the fun ride, I said to my friend, I shouldn't be doing this. It's too soon. I don't know him. And within 5 minutes, I'd fallen off. At speed, I'd really hurt myself. It took me about 6 months to get over quite a bad bruise on my hip. And those two things have really knocked my confidence. So now when I ride, I catastrophize. And I know that I should be putting positive thoughts in my head, because you can't have positive thoughts at the same time as negative thoughts. And unfortunately, the year that I've had Barnaby, he's been out of work for quite a lot of that time for various reasons: bad back, abscess, bad weather, work. And I think the longer time has gone on that I don't ride him, the more this is building up in my head, and I'm scared to get on. And the last time I got on was probably about 3 weeks ago. And I was thinking, should I ride? Should I not? Everyone's got this big pressure about we shouldn't be riding because of the NHS. I thought, no, we'll just go for a plod. He's a really chilled horse. And he was raring to go, and he spooked at a log. He ran backwards, tried to spin, bucked. I nearly fell off. I was hanging in the air thinking, NHS, NHS. And then he bolted down the side of the field with me. And I used all my calm, deep breathing, calmed, one rein stop. And then I got off him, and I was shaking, and I walked him home. And that's kind of been my last experience of being on him. And I'm absolutely terrified of getting back on him.
Okay, so such a lot of thoughts went through my mind. I'll just start at a random point and see if I forget the others or not. When you come and do the falling section in our rider confidence course, we chat and we chat and we chat, and then I say something like, between us, we've had well over 3,000 falls, because we do jousting. Well, we used to do jousting shows. Obviously, you got to fall off if you're a knight, and if you're the Black Knight, you fall off 3 times in a show, 2 shows a day, so that's 6 times a day. And then there's Saturday, Sunday, bank holiday, Monday, that's 18 times in a weekend. And it can be summer, which means the ground's as hard can be. And the thing is, as you don't just fall off, you've got to fall off, and you've got to run off and have a sword fight and frighten the kids and go, Rah! And if you've got your underlayer, then your pads, and then your armor, and then your costume over that, you're so hot that it's just not worth it. And I'd say to everybody who's doing this falling, originally on the falling, we've got crash mats. We've got 2 crash mats, about 18 inches of foam. And I'd just say, in your bite sizes, what you would do if you were coming to work with us is you do what you've done today, then you go to 1 crash mat, then you stand a horse in instead of the wooden horse, and then you get the horse to walk past, and then you get it to jog past, and then you like a little jog yourself past, and you're steering it yourself, and build it up, and then you put your pads on, you take the mats away. But in the summer, you're so hot that you have to take the pads off, because you would rather take the bumps and bruises, because they're not drastic, than get really, really hot. And then I say, except for your hip pads, because your hips stick out no matter what. And when you said, yes, my hip, because I always say, when you fall off at speed, you're usually fine, because you can't help but roll.
Yeah, I rolled a lot.
You roll a lot, and it feels like going through a washing machine.
Yeah.
And if your hip hadn't happened to hit the ground and stick out, you'd have picked yourself up from that and go, I can't believe that I'm all right. I can't believe it. But as it happens, you whacked your hip because they stick out, and that's why we keep hip pants on. So I'm not surprised if you do a fall at speed, you're probably not going to get hurt at all. But if you do, it's going to be your hips.
Yeah, I landed on my hip and then I rolled. I remember feeling like a tumbled, you know, my head was going bang, bang.
And if you'd have landed with that much either way, then the point of your hip, you'd have just rolled, and nothing would have come of it. You wouldn't have this story apart from, I don't know, just a story. So that strikes me. And then it also strikes me that you were absolutely correct, because you knew you shouldn't have been going out on that horse and you hadn't done your bite sizes. So that's something that you can take comfort from, because you will never, ever, ever make that mistake again.
No, I definitely listen to my gut now.
It also doesn't surprise me. Oh, I might contradict that about listening to your gut. I think it was your head. It was your sensible head that turned around to your friend and said, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm sure you knew that you hadn't done the bite sizes. And then you've got your horse that you haven't been getting on very much. And when did you go out on that? And it
that's 3 weeks ago.
Exploded. Exactly. In the spring, it hasn't been doing very much. It's not surprising behaviour.
2 days later, he came down with laminitis. So he's out of work again.
We might be able to use that to our advantage. And what was the last point I was going to make? So I'm not the least bit surprised that he behaved like that. You knew that it was a mistake to do that. And oh yeah, the last point I was going to make is, when I did have, if I was going to say I've ever had a problem with horses, it's bolting horses. I can still see it now, bolting through this orchard in Somerset. Now I use it as my demonstration of how you can get over things using the rewind technique. You know the rewind technique, where you pretend you're sitting in a cinema and you watch the whole thing go forwards and backwards. That was mine. That particular issue with the horse bolting, and of course now I've had so much mileage out of that anecdote that it actually has a lovely positive feeling associated with it. Because
bolting is one of the scariest things that can happen to you. And when he took off down the field, afterwards, when I reflected, I thought I did everything right. I did stop him.
You did do everything. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. You did do everything right.
But when I got off, I was shaking and I could not stop shaking.
And I completely understand that. As I say, I've had the same experience, which I carried with me for a few years before applying the rewind technique to it, and just stripping that out and then repurposing it for something else. There's so much power, and as you know, with teaching people, it sorts out your own head. So that's quite a lot of things that have occurred to me. Now he's got laminitis and you're feeling afraid of getting on. So yesterday I told a little story about an act I saw called Rosie and Scout. Rosie, it was a circus act. It was in Spirit of the Horse. Scout came in, laid on a bed. She put the blanket over. The horse took the blanket off. She put the blanket over. The horse took the blanket off. It wouldn't get up. She had to wind up its tail. She had to crawl between its legs. All that jiggy joggy. She didn't even get on it, but the bond between her and the horse was absolutely incredible. And she did get on it to the end. So, soon as we've got this period where he's going to have laminitis and you're going to need to take the small bite sizes, and as you know, the fight and flight part of our brain, the primitive part of our brain, has the processing power of a 7-year-old. So what would you do for a 7-year-old who'd had the same experience and was now scared with the horse? It's like, well, first of all, we need to trust the horse, get a bond with the horse, get the horse trusting us, so that by the time I'm getting on the horse again and something freaks it out, instead of thinking bolt, it'll think, what do we do? And you only get that by a series of desensitization, by saving its life time and time and time again. So you take it into the arena on long reins if you don't want to get on it to find out how it is. You've got months of work on long reins because you've got to take it easy, make sure that it gets used to the reins around its legs, make sure it gets used to the other equipment, drive it past various obstacles when you're comfy. Obviously, when you're comfy doing the long reining, then it start introducing some obstacles that could potentially spook, such as a garden sprinkler and one of those big Swiss balls and all the sorts of things. Pin a feed bag to the fence and go to town with teaching the horse desensitization as if you were doing this Rosie and Scout act, because you don't have to be on the horse but until it's time to. If you're thinking, oh well, if I really applied myself, I could get on the horse in 6 months, I'd say that's true, but
I was hoping to do it sooner.
When are you hoping to be on the horse by?
Well, it's a really mild bout of laminitis. I caught it really early, so.
Oh, I mean, in confidence wise.
Oh, confidence wise. I was thinking of taking him out for lots of walks in hand first, so maybe a month.
Okay. So if you put in plenty of work, then you could get on in a month.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a spooky horse at all.
Okay.
If he sees something scary.
If you take that minimum time to get on, and then just take that pressure off yourself by doubling it, and go, actually, I'm going to take 2 months. I'm going to really go to town with the groundwork. I vote for long reining because people miss it out. The advantage with long reining is they're still on the
either,
they're still on the they're still on the bit. They're still in a nice shape. You've still got the ability to drive them on, whereas if you buy their head, then you could easily end up in this pulling, pushing kind of mess. And if they do jump sideways, then you're just too tied in with them. I like to get away with them, make it more like driving, build a little obstacle course, get the horse used to doing things well and being in their comfort zone, lots of reversing. Now, if you were like, yeah, if I really worked it out, I could get on in a month, put that pressure on yourself to see a result, but actually change your mind and go, I'm going to do 2 months, have no pressure at all, thoroughly enjoy the process, do 2 times, 3 times as much desensitization as I would have if I was attempting to get on in a month, then the pressure's completely off. There's a whole bunch of exercises. You're going to have a horse that you've rescued from the sprinkler of death, and you've rescued them from the flappy bag pinned to the fence of death, and you've rescued them from the bouncy Swiss ball of death, and you've rescued them from the walking over the tarp of death, and on, everything you possibly think of. Then by the time you do actually get out and the bicycle of death comes along, the template will be there that when you're freaked out, the human is going to tell you exactly what's to do. And so when the desensitization, if you get your friend to set off the garden sprinkler in bite sizes, so initially it's 20 meters away or even further if it's that kind of horse, and we're going to work it on so that eventually it's going to be right on its circle, and the horse is going to go straight through this cloud of water, and everybody will be sitting on the fence going, oh wow, wish my horse did that. And it's like, well, it will. And then we'll go, oh, you've got such a sound horse. But the horse will learn that when it comes time to spook, what the human's going to do is do the thing that we're doing with an absolute laser focus, which is a lot easier in the arena on long reins if you're just going, do that circle, do that circle, do that circle, do that circle. There is no room in my head to be thinking about, oh, he might just rear up and fall over backwards and squash me through the fence, and the guy who's delivering the heating oil is just reversing down by the arena, or any of those disasters that we're like, oh, there's no room for all that.
Yeah.
Do the circle, do the circle, do the circle, do the circle, do the circle. And when we've got that as a established pattern of responsibility, come the day that you're on it and you're going out and someone starts washing their car, you'll be like, get on in the most beautiful, on the bit, working trot that you've ever done in your life. Consistent trot, get on, get on, get on. And those will be used to you taking charge in that way. And then it won't bolt. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was so out of character, but I think because I was nervous getting on.
What did it bolt out of curiosity?
This log on the floor just backed, like ran backwards, bucked, and then ran down the side of a field.
Okay. Well,
walked past the log before, being absolutely fine.
Yeah. It was probably nothing, probably a bit of shadow, undoubtedly a bit of spring, a bit of just being out in the mood, you know, when they go out in the mood to spook and they're just like,
yeah, he'd already cantered down the road when we were trotting and he was, you know, ready to go, really.
Yeah.
I think because he's not been in that much work, he's really, really herd bound now to my Shetland, and so he
well, there we go.
if
Who
she
knows? Maybe it would have been wise to long rein or lunge it the day before a lot, and then lunge it before you got on. If you've not been on it for weeks,
yeah,
it might have been a good idea. Sometimes that, well, usually it changes them, and I do that with mine, but with my more fiery ones, if I know they haven't been ridden for a while, I know that today and probably tomorrow are a complete waste of time. It's all about this attitude that you just described to me. We're not going to get anything done. And I'm looking forward to the third day when we've struggled our way through the first 2 days, not very satisfactorily, but then they're back in the working head, and I wouldn't overtask myself or them, and I certainly wouldn't take them out on a hack until at least day 3. When they're
so
back
that's
to
what I
being
do really is
responsive.
hack. I don't school, so I suppose that's just normal to me to just head out and hack.
I would never just
You know?
I think we found a difference. In terms of anything traumatic, such as your horse dying in the farmer's field, if that's particularly playing on your mind in a regular way, I mean, it's always going to play on your mind, but in a regular way that spoils your life, or any recurring thing about falling off and hurting your hip, go to a friendly local hypnotherapist. Get them to do the rewind for you. We're not going to do it on ourselves.
No.
There we are.
Yeah.
There we are.
I did think about EMDR, but
Pardon?
I did think about having an EMDR, the eye movement thing.
Okay, yes.
But yeah, maybe I'll try rewind first. See how I go with that.
There we are. As you know, it's such bread and butter to you can then have that scene just not bother you ever again.
Yeah, I know it's in the back of my mind, and it's part of the reason why I'm catastrophizing. So,
but as a hypnotherapist, it's always interesting to go on a busman's holiday and be the recipient, because you can always see how they present themselves, what they do that I might not do, how they've arranged their room. If I assume it's going to be over the internet, how's that worked? How are they doing it? I mean, I quite like doing anything where I'm suddenly putting myself into a customer's shoes, because it's just so revealing.
Yeah.
So get that done, and
lots of groundwork in between.
Lots, and long reining. Get on the old Google, get on the interweb, and check out as many long reining stuff as you can. And it's thoroughly enjoyable. It's as enjoyable as riding because you've got this thing going where you're teaching them something and they're responding, and they fall into their comfort zone, and you can do endless things. It's super.
Yeah, I drive my Shetland, so I feel reasonably confident with long reining, but the thoroughbred's never done it, so we'll see how that goes.
I've had a huge amount of success with it, and that's why I'm always saying it's so good because you're safe
Mm.
and
Yeah.
educating the horse at the same time.
Brilliant. All right, thank you very much, Carl.
Really nice. Thank you very much for talking to us. It's
Yeah,
been
and
really
really nice to
interesting.
speak to you.
Okay, I shall look forward to speaking to you at a later date, and you're going to give us a catch up.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. There we are. What a super call. Right then. Thank you very much for coming and joining with this Q&A. I'm going to get on with the all for one May Day bundle, which is going to be May Day only. Everything that I've got on the internet, all for the price of one of it. That is, whereas normally you'd buy one hypnosis, you get the hypnosis, you get the other hypnosis, you get the Carl's Horsemanship Training Guide, which is a two-part training guide into the methodology and philosophy of how we train our horses here for shows. We've got the rearing video, the bolting, bucking and rearing special report. I'm forgetting all the things. Oh, the audio book, of course, and the book. Yeah, the book. Control your stress and enjoy your horse. And yeah, so all of that, which individually would be about £100 something, is going to be £47. So that's what I'm doing. That's the offer. It's going to take all the rest of my day to get that all up and sorted. When I put the advert up, please share it to horsey groups. There's so many people who could really, really, really take such advantage of having all that I've developed over the last decade that's had the most incredible testimonials, and I want some more. So yeah, when the advert's up, do me a favor, I'll put it up on all the Facebook pages, I'll put it up on the YouTube. Only for tomorrow. It's just help as many people as you can, but obviously I can't sell everything at such a massive reduction in price. So it's for tomorrow. If you want that help, then, or you know somebody who wants that help, then share that advert as it comes out. I'm going to go and work on it now. Chris is going to work on it as well. It'll be out later today. The offer itself is for all of tomorrow. It's the all for one May Day bundle. Make sure that you get it. Anybody who needs it gets it. Everybody knows that it's available. And let's see how many people I can help this summer. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow, I hope. Bye.